My wife sneered. "You're not husband material. You're a placeholder until someone better shows up." I said, "Then let him show up." I filed everything quietly and let the documents reach her attorney first. When he called her in and slid one specific paper across the table, her whole demeanor shifted. I'm 37, and until 6 months ago, I thought I had a solid marriage. 7 years together, married for 5. We met at a friend's party, dated for about 18 months before getting engaged, married a year after that. Standard progression. She worked in real estate, I worked in tech. We had a nice house, 2 cars, traveled twice a year. From the outside, everything looked fine. But somewhere around year 3, things started changing. Small things at first. She'd make comments about my work, how I wasn't ambitious enough, how I should be pushing for promotions harder, how other husbands in her office were making partner or starting their own firms. I'd brush it off. I was doing well, making good money, contributing equally to our household. But it was never enough. The comments got worse. About my appearance, my hobbies, my friends. Everything became a comparison. Her colleague's husband ran marathons. Another one was learning Italian. Someone else just bought his wife a new car. It was exhausting, like I was constantly being measured against invisible standards I couldn't meet. I tried. For a long time, I tried. Started going to the gym more. Picked up a side project at work. Planned nicer date nights. But nothing changed. She'd find something else to critique. Something else I was lacking. The breaking point came on a Wednesday in March. I'd just gotten home from work. Long day. I'd been dealing with a difficult client and a system migration that went sideways. I was tired, wanted to just decompress. She was in the kitchen when I walked in. "Hey," I said, "you're late." "Yeah, had a crisis at work. Told you this morning it might be a long day." "You're always having a crisis. It's part of the job. Other people's husbands seem to manage their jobs without constant drama." I set down my bag. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means maybe you're not as good at your job as you think you are." "I'm good at my job. I got promoted last year. My reviews are excellent. What are you talking about?" She turned to face me. "You're good at being mediocre, at being comfortable, at doing just enough to get by." "Where is this coming from?" "It's been coming for a while, you just don't see it." "See what?" "That you're not husband material. You're a placeholder until someone better shows up." I felt like I'd been punched. Just stood there, staring at her, trying to process what she'd just said. A placeholder. Yes. Someone better. Yes. So you're saying you're waiting for someone to replace me? I'm saying I settled, and I'm realizing I shouldn't have. I should have yelled, should have argued, should have demanded she take it back. But I didn't. Something in me just clicked into place. A calm settled over me. "Then let him show up," I said. "What? You're waiting for someone better? Fine, wait, but I'm not going to sit here and be your backup plan while you do." "Oh, so now you're offended?" "I'm not offended. I'm done." "Done with what?" "This, you, us." She laughed. Actually laughed. "You're not serious." "I'm completely serious." "You're overreacting. I was just being honest." "You were being cruel. There's a difference. And I'm not interested in being with someone who sees me as temporary." "So what? You're going to leave?" "Yeah, I am." "Over one comment?" "Over 3 years of comments. This was just the final one." I went upstairs, started packing a bag. She followed me. "You're being ridiculous." "Maybe. You can't just leave." "Watch me." "Where are you even going to go?" "Hotel tonight. Figure out the rest later." "This is childish. You told me I'm a placeholder, that you settled, that you're waiting for someone better. What exactly am I supposed to do with that information? Sit around and prove myself? Compete with hypothetical better options? No thanks. I finished packing, grabbed my laptop bag, walked past her and down the stairs. "Don't do this. she said from the top of the stairs. Not pleading, just annoyed, like I was inconveniencing her. Already done. I left. Drove to a hotel about 20 minutes away, checked in, sat on the edge of the bed in a generic room and just breathed, trying to process, trying to figure out what the hell just happened. My phone started buzzing around 9 p.m., texts from her. This is stupid. Come home. We need to talk like adults. Nothing about what she'd said. Nothing approaching an apology. Just annoyance that I'd had the audacity to leave. I didn't respond. The next morning I called in sick to work. Couldn't focus anyway. Called a lawyer instead. Found one who specialized in divorce. Made an appointment for that afternoon. The lawyer was a woman in her 50s. Professional. Direct. I liked her immediately. Tell me what happened, she said. I did. Gave her the whole story. The years of criticism. The constant comparisons. The placeholder comment. And you want a divorce? Yeah. Are you sure? Sometimes people say things in anger. I'm sure. Even if she apologized, which she hasn't, I can't come back from hearing that. I can't be with someone who sees me as temporary. Okay, let's talk about assets. We spent the next hour going through everything. The house, in both our names. The cars, one in each name. Bank accounts, mostly joint, but I had one separate savings account from before we got married. Retirement accounts, investments. This looks relatively straightforward, she said. No kids. Clear asset division. We can file for divorce citing irreconcilable differences. Should be clean. How long does it take? In this state, minimum 6 months from filing to finalization. Could be longer if she contests anything. She'll contest. She's not going to make this easy. Most people don't, but the law is the law. If you're sure about this, we can start the paperwork today. I'm sure. We went through everything. Signed documents, discussed strategy. She said she'd file everything by end of week and have the papers served to my wife's attorney, assuming she had one. If not, we'd serve her directly. One more thing, I said. The house. It's in both our names, but I've been paying the mortgage solo for the past 2 years. Why? She wanted to invest in her business. Said she needed to funnel her income back into building her client base. I said fine. I'd cover the mortgage temporarily. Do you have that in writing? We have emails, texts, bank statements showing all the mortgage payments coming from my account. Good. That'll help. We can argue you have greater equity stake. That felt good. That one piece of foresight. I hadn't thought much of it at the time, just being supportive. But now it might actually matter. I left her office feeling strange, lighter, but also heavier, like I'd just set something irreversible in motion, which I had. I didn't go back to the hotel. Instead, I called my brother, explained everything, asked if I could crash at his place for a while. Of course, he said. Stay as long as you need. I checked out of the hotel, drove to his place. He lived about 40 minutes away in a smaller apartment. He was divorced himself, knew what this felt like. You doing okay? He asked when I got there. Honestly, I don't know. That's normal. I keep replaying it. What she said, how she said it, like I was nothing. You're not nothing. She's just an asshole. That made me laugh. First time I'd laughed in 24 hours. The papers were filed on Friday. My lawyer called to confirm. Said they'd be served to my wife the following week once she retained counsel, or directly if she didn't respond to the initial notification letter. I didn't tell my wife I'd filed. Didn't see the point. She'd find out soon enough. I stayed at my brother's place through the weekend. Tried to process, tried to figure out what came next. Monday morning I went back to work. Told my boss I was going through a separation and might need some flexibility. He was understanding. Said to take whatever time I needed. The notification letter was sent to our house on Tuesday. I knew because my lawyer texted me. Initial notice delivered. She has 5 days to acknowledge and retain counsel. Wednesday afternoon, my phone exploded. 15 missed calls from my wife. 10 text messages, All variations of "what the hell" and "you filed for divorce." I didn't respond. Thursday morning, she showed up at my office. Security called me, said my wife was in the lobby demanding to see me. Tell her I'm not available. She's insisting. I don't care, I'm not seeing her. Security escorted her out. She called me immediately after. I declined the call. She texted, "You're really going to do this, without even talking to me?" I replied, "You told me I'm a placeholder. What's there to talk about?" I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? I was frustrated. You know how I get. I do. That's part of the problem. So you're just giving up? I'm not giving up. I'm choosing myself. This is insane. Maybe, but it's happening. Friday came. She retained a lawyer. My lawyer called to tell me. She's got representation. Big firm, expensive. They're going to push back hard. Let them. They're going to try to drag this out, make it messy. I figured. Are you prepared for that? I'm prepared to not be treated like garbage, whatever it takes. The following week, both legal teams exchanged initial documents. Discovery phase, each side presenting their case for asset division. My lawyer called me on Wednesday. We need to talk about something. Okay. Her attorney is claiming she's entitled to half of everything, including your separate savings account. That account is from before we were married. I know, but they're arguing that since you commingled funds, using some of it for joint expenses over the years, it became marital property. That's bullshit. It might be, but we'll need to prove it. Do you have records of the account from before the marriage? Yeah, I've got statements going back 10 years. Good. Send those over. We'll build our case. This went on for weeks, back and forth. Her team pushing for more, my team holding firm. Every time I thought we were close to settlement, her lawyer would come back with new demands. Meanwhile, she kept trying to contact me. Calls, texts, emails, showing up at places she knew I'd be. I ignored all of it, changed my routines, made myself unavailable. 2 months in, my lawyer called with an update. We're scheduling mediation. Her attorney thinks we can settle this without going to trial. What are they offering? She keeps the house. You keep your car and your separate savings account. Joint accounts get split 50-50. Retirement accounts split based on contribution during marriage. What about the mortgage payments? They're claiming those were gifts, that you voluntarily agreed to cover them. I have emails saying it was temporary. I know. We're presenting those. But they're pushing back. Mediation was scheduled for early June, 3 months after I'd walked out. 3 months of legal fees and stress and constant back and forth. The day before mediation, my lawyer called. I need you to come in. There's something we need to discuss. I went to her office that afternoon. She looked serious. What's going on? I asked. Her attorney sent over some new documents this morning, financial records. They're trying to claim you've been hiding assets. I haven't hidden anything. I know, but they're fishing, trying to find something they can use. Let them fish. There's nothing there. There's one thing. What? That separate savings account, the one from before the marriage. What about it? How much is in there? About $75,000. Why? Because I don't think you've told your wife about it. At least not recently. I haven't talked to her about my finances in years. She never asked. Well, they don't know about this account. It's not on any of the joint financial documents. It's completely separate. Different bank. Is that a problem? Not legally. It's your premarital asset. But strategically, it gives us leverage. How? Because tomorrow at mediation, when they push for the house and half of everything, we're going to present documentation showing that you have a significant separate asset they didn't know about. And we're going to make it clear that if she pushes this to trial, we're going to argue that you deserve the house based on the mortgage payments you made. We're going to argue that her business investment excuse doesn't hold up when she can't show proof that money actually went into her business. Can we do that? We can, and we will. The question is whether she'll back down or double down. Mediation happened the next day. Conference room in a neutral office building. My lawyer and I on one side, my wife and her attorney on the other, a mediator at the head of the table. My wife looked different, tired, thinner. She wouldn't make eye contact. The mediator started. We're here to see if we can reach an agreement on asset division. Both parties have submitted their positions. Let's start with the house. Her attorney jumped in. My client is requesting sole ownership of the marital home. She's been living there since the separation and has maintained all expenses. My lawyer responded. My client paid the mortgage solo for 2 years prior to separation. We have documentation showing over $60,000 in payments. If anything, he has greater equity stake. Those were voluntary payments, gifts. We have emails showing they were temporary arrangements. Back and forth for 20 minutes. Then my lawyer said, "We'd like to present some additional documentation." She slid a folder across the table. Her attorney opened it, scanned the first page, looked up. "What is this?" "Bank statements for my client's separate premarital savings account. As you'll see, the account has maintained its separate status throughout the marriage. No commingling, no joint deposits, completely separate." Her attorney flipped through pages. My wife leaned over to look. I watched her face change, saw the moment she realized. $75,000, her attorney said quietly. "Yes. We weren't aware of this account. Because it's separate, premarital, not subject to division." Her attorney looked at my wife. They whispered. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I could see her reaction. Shock. Maybe anger. Maybe just realization that she'd underestimated what I had. The mediator intervened. "Let's take a 15-minute break. Give both parties time to discuss." My lawyer and I went to a separate room. "That went well," she said. "How can you tell?" "Did you see her face? She didn't know about that money. She probably thought you had nothing, that she had all the leverage. And now? Now she knows that if this goes to trial, you can afford a long fight, and you have separate assets she can't touch. That changes everything." We went back after 15 minutes. Sat down. The mediator started to speak, but my wife's attorney cut her off. "We'd like to propose a revised settlement." "Go ahead," my lawyer said. "My client keeps the house, but buys out your client's equity based on his mortgage contributions. We'll calculate fair market value and his proportional ownership stake. She'll refinance and pay him out within 60 days. What about retirement accounts? Split based on marital contribution, 50-50 on joint accounts. Each party keeps their own separate accounts." "And the car?" "She keeps hers, he keeps his. No trade." My lawyer looked at me. I nodded slightly. "We'll agree to that," she said. "With one condition. The buyout needs to happen within 30 days. Not 60. And we want it in writing that if she defaults, the house goes to him." They whispered again. My wife looked miserable. Finally, her attorney nodded. "Agreed." We spent the next hour hammering out details, signing paperwork, making it official. By 4 p.m., we had a settlement. I walked out of that building feeling strange. Not happy, exactly, not sad. Just finished. Like I'd closed a door I'd been standing in front of for months. My wife tried to talk to me in the parking lot. I was walking to my car when I heard her. "Wait." I stopped, didn't turn around. "Can we talk?" We just did, for 4 hours. Not about the settlement, about us. There is no us. There was, for 7 years. "Yeah, and you spent the last 3 telling me I wasn't good enough, that I was a placeholder. So now you're free to find someone better. Congratulations." "I didn't mean that. You said it, multiple times, in multiple ways. I was wrong." "Okay. That's it? Okay? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? That I understand? I don't. You told me exactly how you felt. I believed you, and I'm moving on. You're really not going to give me another chance?" I turned around, looked at her, really looked at her. "Why would I? So you can spend another few years tearing me down? So I can spend another few years trying to prove I'm worthy of basic respect? No thanks. I'll change. People don't change. Not really. They just get better at hiding who they are. And I've seen who you are. I'm not interested in a repeat performance. I got in my car and drove away. Didn't look back. Didn't need to. The house buyout went through 3 weeks later. She refinanced, paid me out, $68,000. My portion based on the mortgage contributions. I deposited it into my separate account. Brought my total savings to just over $140,000. The divorce finalized 2 months after that, September, 6 months after I'd walked out. I got the papers in the mail, signed them, sent them back. That was it. 7 years reduced to signatures on legal documents. I moved into my own place in October, small apartment, 1 bedroom, nothing fancy. But it was mine. No one there to tell me I wasn't enough. No comparisons, no criticism, just peace. I ran into her at a coffee shop a few months later, January, almost a year since that Wednesday. She was with someone, tall guy, well-dressed, looked like what I imagined her someone better would look like. She saw me, started to approach. The guy she was with looked confused. "Hey," she said. "Hey. How are you?" "Good. You?" "Good. Fine. This is a friend." "Cool." Awkward silence. "You look good," she said. "Thanks. Are you seeing anyone?" "Not that it's your business, but yeah. I've been seeing someone for a couple months." That wasn't entirely true. I'd been on a few dates with someone, nothing serious yet, but the look on her face made the small lie worth it. "Oh, that's good." "Yeah, it is. She's great. Treats me like I matter. Novel concept." She flinched. "I deserved that." "You did. Look, I just want you to know I'm sorry for everything. I was horrible to you." "Yeah, you were. And I regret it." "Good. Learn from it. Be better to the next person." "I'm trying. Good luck with that." I walked away, got my coffee, left. Didn't look back. That was 4 months ago. I'm still seeing the woman I mentioned. It's gotten more serious. She's kind, supportive, makes me feel valued. It's a strange feeling after so long, but I'm getting used to it. I'm 37. I've got my own place, my own life, my own peace. I've got someone who actually wants to be with me, not someone waiting for better options. My ex-wife is still out there somewhere, still looking for whatever she thinks she's missing, still probably telling herself that she settled and deserves more. I hope she finds it. Not because I care about her happiness, but because I want her to stop measuring everyone else against impossible standards. For their sake, not hers. As for me, I'm done being anyone's placeholder, done proving myself, done accepting less than basic respect. If someone thinks I'm not enough, they're welcome to find someone who is. I'll be over here living my life with someone who knows exactly what I'm worth, and that's more than enough for me.